I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair and took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. I'm with the gang, we packing. We on the field that Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Running drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fuck with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no hoe, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas, keep. You with me, sheesh. But need OG, keep.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Yeah, head up in the clouds, though they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test, now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working, I'm up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, man, we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Mafia Bitcoin finally, after a little side quest to the upside, decided to come back down to tap the value area low of our range at about $117,000. And if you guys watched last night's live stream, you will know that was a very, very, very key level of support. And as we are playing around with it right now, guys, it remains key support. Are we going to get a bounce? And I want to talk about, if we lose this level, what are we likely to see next here on Bitcoin? We had money flow coming out last week. We had money flow coming out on yesterday's live stream, making us anticipate a lower high and a lower low, and we did indeed get that. Although money flow kind of chopped around, we still got that lower high right where we would expect it at that golden pocket 786, and we did get that push for the lower low into our key level of support. Is the dump over? Not that it's a huge dump, but is the pullback over? Are we going to get a send to the upside, or are we going to see that bigger correction down to 114 and potentially 112 to $110,000? I'm going to break down everything for you guys on tonight's live stream, so shout out to the Candle Mafia. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys, and sorry for the late start here, guys. I was trying to do some dig up some paperwork here. I'm not going to say it's a short stream, but I do have some important stuff to take care of tonight. So we'll see what we're going to try to go for a full stream, but I might end a little bit early. As you guys know, that usually means a 2-hour stream. But shout out to the Candle Mafia. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate every single one of you guys. We got Nick Dunn in the chat, said, go into the moon, baby. Shout out to Nick Dunn. I hope so. I hope so. We do have some money flow still coming out here. We have the daily red dot, and we do still have some money flow coming out. But hopefully we can escape that. And I'm going to talk to you guys about exactly what I'm looking for. We got Gen Z in the chat chatting out. Dutchy said turn up the volume today. Let me know if you guys are hearing me loud and clear. If you're not, I'll turn up the volume. It does show that I have good volume here, but if you guys can't hear me, if we get enough X's in the chat, I will turn it up. Usually I do screen talk though, guys, so sometimes sometimes when I talk at a normal voice, people think I'm quiet. But yeah, let me know. Give me a green check mark in the chat if you guys can hear me. Red X if you do not hear me. Shout out to Perry, says, salute, Frankie. Shout out to Perry. Welcome in, bro. We got Dutchy in the chat, said, Melissa. Shout out to Melissa in the chat. What is going on? We got Al Jr. What is going on? Welcome in, bro. I appreciate you for being here. Let's see. We got Dizzy Gang in the chat, said he sold. Pump it. Shout out to Dizzy. Who sold? I didn't sell, that's for sure. But yeah, let's see. Microphone up. Yeah, shout out to Dutchy. Let me know, guys, if you louder. Okay, I'm getting some louders here. Let me go ahead. Hopefully, is this better? Are we louder? Can you hear me better now? Hello, testing. Is this thing on? Let's see. Yo, shout out to Kryptone, said, I can't believe you were late, homie. That's crazy. Shout out to Crypto. Kryptone, shout out to you, man. I assume your name's probably Tony. But let's see. We got Mr. Cowley 20 in the chat. Said I hear you loud and clear. Let's go, baby. Check one, check two. Let's see. Chatmaster in the chat said more power. It's over 9,000. All right, guys. I think we are good. AR Perez in the chat said thank you for the live streaming every day, my guy. Shout out to AR. No problem, bro. That's what we're here for, to dish out the sauce every single weekday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with all that being said, guys, that's enough housekeeping, enough shout outs. Now, let's get to your daily dose of sauce. Let's get into it. All right, guys, here we are. Who knew we would come down to that value area low? Well, we did by looking at this volume profile. As you guys know, just a quick little breakdown here. I don't want to spend too much time, going over how we had this happen, but obviously we did get that long position from the low down here into our golden pocket daily MPOC. Well, actually, I took that golden pocket off the chart, but let me go ahead and pull up that daily MPOC real quick so you guys can see. Oh, I actually took that daily MPOC off as well, but you're going to have to believe me, guys. Golden pocket daily MPOC down here. We were looking for those long positions in the premium Discord, and we did get that ride back into our volume profile, up to the POC, up to the value area high, where we got some bearish confirmations, which typically does indicate that you are going to get that full rotation back down to the POC, and then eventually, even if Bitcoin wants to go on a little bit of a side quest like it did, more often than not, guys, this will just show you how often the volume profiles will actually play out. Once you get those bearish confirmations, you're expecting an eventual fulfill of that range to the value area low. Bitcoin got down to the POC yesterday, and then we went on a little side quest to the upside. But as you guys know, we were looking at that 8-hour red dot with the 30-minute money flow crossover into the red, which was indicating the continuation of that downtrend. And it does, just because we're looking for a downtrend to continue does not mean that you cannot look for little retracements to the upside, right? On those retracements, all the money flow is doing is giving us a filter to let us know, like, well, hey, if we do get a push to the upside, we are going to be looking for lower highs and lower lows. But to get that lower high, right, you're going to have to come up and push into a retracement level, which we know those lower highs are very likely to come in between the golden pocket and the 786 Fibonacci retracement. And here we are getting that lower high and the lower low, pushing us directly into that value area low. Not here. This was a zone of support, guys. We had a daily here yesterday, just for what it's worth. We did have a daily level here that was perfectly swept, right? We had a perfect swing failure pattern on that level. We did get that push to the upside, but as we know, those volume profile levels like the value area low are very magnetic for price. We did come down and tap that, and this is our biggest key zone of support here, guys, because if we lose this level, I will say I will be looking for more downside for Bitcoin. Does this make me bearish overall? Absolutely not. I think most people who are watching this live stream right now know my overall sentiment is bullish for Bitcoin. There is no reason to think, in my opinion, based off what I look at on the charts, that, oh my God, the top is in because we got a little pullback. Absolutely not. Even if we were, the question we've been looking at on the live stream for a while now, ever since we've been kind of bing-bonging around here, is like, are we just going to get a little retracement for another send back up to the higher prices, or are we going to, let me just clean this up real quick so I can draw nice and, peacefully here, or are we going to have to go down for a deeper retracement, potentially targeting that $112,000 structural high, which is also confluent with our lower volume profile, where we have that value area high at about $110,000, and then that structural the structural highs here at about 112K, right? So are we going to have to do something like this where you get the initial breakout with nice follow through and then get a retest of that range high before sending it up to higher prices? And as you guys know, we do have a lot of confluence within this zone. So it is, 112 to 110 is kind of like, would be like the perfect technical bounce, right? Just like retest that value area high and send it to the upside. But when we pull up those daily MPOCs, you guys can see we do actually have like 3 other MPOCs down here. We have 2, like a pocket of MPOCs right here. And then underneath that, we have the point of control and the daily MPOC confluence as well. It's not impossible if we do get that bigger retracement and we don't get the bounce off the value area high. It's not impossible to see a push back down to that point of control. I really do not want to lose this level. This numerical level is sitting at about $107,475. A daily MPOC sits at about, get this as close as possible, 107,178, right? So I really don't want to lose that POC. I would kind of look at that as kind of the first sign of weakness. Not that I would instantly think it's bear market or anything like that, but as you guys know, if I pull that lower volume profile off the chart and we pull up our macro volume profile, actually I'll keep them both on here just so you guys can kind of see, right? If we start working our way down, and this is the same thing we've been looking at on every live stream so far, we get stuck under that value area high and don't bounce off the POC. If we start losing this, guys, man, we're retesting the macro value area high, and this would be like This is the line in the sand for me personally, right? Because if we lose this, right, I would say 117K is the line in the sand to get the bigger retracement. But once we start losing this POC and value area low, we are at risk of getting accepted into our larger value area, which would just naturally call for a push down towards about $97,000. And again, I'm not necessarily calling for this. I'm hoping this doesn't happen. But just to kind of show you guys, like, you know, the biggest key levels you have to watch, not just saying this is big support, right, but understanding the context of like why it's important and what is likely to happen if you lose those levels, right? And by using the volume profiles, even if you were just looking at the macro VP, right, you know, maybe if we get some kind of scary retracement, maybe we do lose that POC of the local range. You know, you really want to start bouncing in like this entire zone, because if we can't get the buyers to come in here and we get stuck into this volume profile, sure, you have the daily MPOCs at about 101.9, but it's like, yeah, anytime you get below this value area high, it does open up the door to come down to that POC, which obviously does sit at about $96,000. And let me just come on here and make this, let me just come up here and turn this text up so you guys can actually see the numbers. Okay, everybody calm down. That's way too big. We'll put it on like 16. There you go. Now you can see it a little bit better. But, you know, at POC at about 97K, you know, you lose that value area high. It does open up the door to potentially get a move down there. Hopefully we don't have to deal with it. I'm not calling for it, right? But, you know, hopefully we, you know, in the worst case scenario, by still remaining bullish, you know, medium term here, right? You know, you would hope for that retest and then the bigger breakout. And now another thing I do want to show you here, guys, is if we pull up the local volume profile here, bada boom, bada bing, where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? There we are. I renamed it yesterday, so it's harder for me to find. But when we look at this, right, if we do get down there to the lower volume profile, right, I want to pull this Fibonacci retracement as well, right? So actually, I pulled this on a cleaner chart. Let me just go ahead and hide all this stuff. Bada boom, right? Where we at? Where are we at? Okay, so let me actually just go ahead and pull this. Let me actually pull the full retracement here from the absolute low at about 98,000 all the way to the high. Yeah, I mean, you could even see here, right, like the macro golden pocket from the low at $98,000 all the way to the all-time high. That golden pocket really comes in confluence here at about the POC at about 100, starting at about 107.7 down to about 106, you know, 107K. This whole zone is absolutely huge, guys, because, you know, if you come down there, that could be a golden pocket retracement for a bounce back up. But again, this is really not the level that I want. I really don't want to lose this level, if I'm being totally honest. Like, this would really, you know, this has been the line in the sand, and it's like just looking at this Fibonacci retracement just adds to that confluence in that zone. But again, we'll cross this bridge if and when we get there, right? Hopefully we don't have to deal with it. But locally, you know, we are coming down to our key level of support. We are attempting to get a little bit of a bounce here, but at the end of the day, like I talked about yesterday, we are just treating this as a typical volume profile from the lows to the highs, back to the low, back to the high, back to the low, back to the high, back to the low. Are we going to be able to get a bounce back to the high here? Well, what we were looking at yesterday to anticipate this lower high and another lower low to push in for the fulfill the volume profile, it all came down to money flow, right? Money flow on the 45-minute, right? We have the 45-minute money flow crossing into the red. We also, with the 12-hour red dot that was printing, we also had the 8-hour red dot printing with the 30-minute money flow, as I covered before. Once that money flow crosses into the red, you are anticipating the continuation of that downtrend, high, low, lower, low, into your key level of support. So nice to see somewhat of a bounce here. But now that we look at this, guys, you can see, just like we looked at the 8-hour with the 30-minute to indicate the continuation down to this value area low, we now have the daily red dot printing with the 90-minute money flow crossover attempting to come here into the red. Now, it's not quite crossing over just yet. If we jump on down to the 80-minute, you can see you are starting to get a crossover into the red. This is the same strategy on a higher time frame. Same strategy we looked at yesterday, just on a little bit of a higher time frame. And this could indicate, right, a little bit more of a continuation down, which is not really a shocker from what we've been looking at recently on the charts. Again, you know, this would, if we do get the continuation down, it would be more of an indication that we're just going to get a bigger retracement, right? This, you know, losing this range is a local line in the sand for lower prices. If we lose this, right, if we're unable to hold this value area low as support, even if we deviate below, right, you could still look for a bounce on the golden pocket. We did not tap all this support just yet. We tapped the value area low, anchored VWAP, daily MPOC, and this horizontal weekly level, which is right on that daily MPOC. So this is really the level you want to hold. If we wind up breaking back down below this value area low, you do have the golden pocket, but at that point, right, if you can't get back into this value area, I think the bigger retracement is going to be more likely in that situation. If we don't bounce here, right, we lose that value area, that is the line in the sand for that bigger retracement. Honorable mention here, you do have the 786 sitting at $116,000. Again, can you bounce there? Very similar to the golden pocket. Yes, but if you bounce off this 786, you have to understand if your money flow, for example, on the 80 and 90 minute is crossing over into the red, at that point, right, when we reassess the price action as we tap into these levels, sure, maybe you get a bounce, but if that money flow is not scooting back to the upside, guys, you could still, just like we did yesterday, played out perfectly, look for the lower high and the lower low. You could look for a continuation of that downtrend, lower high, lower low, which could push us into our next local level of support, which does sit at about $114,000. We have a CME gap. We have single prints leading us down there. I wouldn't say this is like the biggest level of confluence. I would classify this as like an intermediary level of support. Could you bounce there? Sure. But, I would say it's not as important of a support as the 112 to 110K level, right? But again, I'm going to stop talking about that because we're still pretty far away. I just really want the Mafia to be aware of these levels, right? Because if we do see that, imagine this, right? Let's say we get a shocker rip to the downside, right? Everyone's panicking. Oh my God, what's going on? You know that, hey, maybe we're going for that CME gap. And then if we don't get that, right, and we lose that, it's like, oh my God, everything's going to zero, right? But you're just looking at this like, when in doubt, zoom out. It's like, well, hey, I cover this every day. We go back to the drop down to $75,000. It's very, very similar. It's like, oh my God, everything's going to zero, right? But when you zoom out, it's like, well, hey, should we really be worried about this? Because we still have our structure here that we can bounce off of, and we didn't even have to tap it, right? We didn't even have to come play around with this. This could have been a much stickier situation if we had to come and play around in that range before the bounce. But luckily, we stuck those Fibonacci retracements and got that higher high to come in exactly as we expected. It's almost the same situation here as we've been looking at. If you get that bigger retracement, just zoom out, right, and say, well, hey, as long as we don't start losing this range, right, we could still be putting in the higher low and the higher high, especially with the confluence on the golden pocket retracement, with the POC, all the daily naked points of controls. There's a lot of support down there, right? With that being said, if we start losing that, that's where you can bring up the macro volume profile and say, well, hey, hopefully we don't have to get accepted back in here, because if we do, that 97K POC is going to be open. But, something like this, bigger retracement, is going to be very scary for a lot of people, right? But as long as we can bounce around that zone, I would still be thinking that things are, in pretty good shape, right? But with the way money flow looks right now, with the daily red dot, 90-minute money flow crossover, we do have to be aware of that continuation down. So just be aware of that. And shout out to anybody who was watching the stream yesterday where we were looking for the lower highs and the lower lows. Here we are. We see it play out every single time, and it will very, very likely be very similar if we do continue to the downside. So I hate to come up here and say money flow is coming out, but I'm just here. I'm the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger, guys. I'm just here bringing you guys the TA and the information. And, hey, hopefully we don't have to see that happen. Hopefully money flow fakes out. Hopefully that market cipher B116 strategy is wrong, and we get the strong bounce from this support, even if we have to test that golden pocket or 786. Hopefully we can send it out of here. But, I have to have you guys ready for that actual sound data and analysis that we're seeing here on the charts. So, but, also still kind of like trying to ease nerves here. If we do see the bigger breakdown, it's not like, oh my God, this is the bear market level that this is the bull market level that we can't lose. That's not the case, right? This is just a local level that could be the doorway to our local lower levels, right? It's not until we start losing that 108, 107K level. Where's it at? It's not until we start losing that where I would be thinking we're getting that much, much bigger drop to the downside. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna break down a couple more things here on the Bitcoin chart. We'll take a look at some of the altcoins as well, but I'm gonna come in here and check on chat. Shout out to Full Melt Mike. Goat sauce. Let's go, guys. We do make goat sauce, and goats are never hurt in the making of our sauce. I will say that. We do have some goat-flavored ingredients, but they're not real goat parts. Let's see. Shout out to Shirley Sound said, hopefully the charts are wrong. Yes, I would say that. Anytime price is going to go down, we usually hope that we hope the charts are wrong. I want Bitcoin to go up as much as everybody else. Let's see. Shout out to AR Perez says, the sauce or la crema in Spanish is extra saucy today. Shout out to AR Perez. Let's go, baby. We dish it every single day. Shout out to AR Perez. He's here all the time, so he knows very well. We got Flat Smack in the chat said, did we look at Cheems yet? Shout out to Flat Smack. What is Cheems? Should we look at it? Is it a thing? Is it a real thing? Shout out to Flat Smack. Flat Smack, send this thing back to the upside, brother. Send this thing back to the upside. Shout out to Flat Smack. Let's see. Takes the fear out of the dip. Yeah, shout out to Regular Guy Trades. Yeah, it's the same exact thing down here, right? Like, and we dropped that Bitcoin deep dive, right, where I literally covered. Now, I don't say this to brag by any means, right? I say this because I want people to learn from this so they can actually understand, like, when you're looking at the TA, it really, I'm not going to lie, guys. This was, like, brutal to watch, right? I hated this as much as everybody else. But, even up here in February, right, we were looking as money flow on the daily was coming out. And this is, like, a pretty simple way to look at market cipher. It's like, well, hey, when you have a range forming like this, right, and throughout that range, money flow is just generally trending to the downside, there is a higher probability that that range will break down rather than break up. And during that time, you know, I always say like, hey guys, I wish I could just call for a massive rip up here, but if we want a massive rip up, we need that money flow to be in the red about to cross into the green. Literally the opposite of what we had happen there. So, and what happens, right? You get that breakdown. We knew we had a lot of liquidity down here. And then on that big drop down, it's like, instead of like, oh my God, is the top in? Why is everybody selling? What happened? Was there bearish news? But instead of just like panicking and trying to figure out what happened, you're just kind of sitting there like waiting for this to happen. And if you know how to trade like the Mafia, very likely you'll be able to catch some short positions to ride that down like we did in the premium Discord, shorting up here at about I think 100 and, what was it, like 107K. And then I also shorted, I think I stopped out in profit on that and shorted 102K. And we did get that nice drop to the downside. It made a bunch of money. Right? That's the beauty of being a trader. Not only does the charts help you kind of like ease your fear on those drops when you're expecting them, and you understand like, well, hey, we're probably just, you know, wrecking all the longs that we're recklessly entering in with high leverage here. You know, kind of why you're getting that drop, and you also know the key support levels that you're coming down to, right? And then on top of that, right, you're also making money on the way down. So it makes it a lot better. It takes the fear out. And, you know, if you are trading it, you could be making some money. Shout out to Spiritual Tradie. Shout out to you. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Appreciate you so much. That's 1 hour bull div. Yeah, so if we jump on back in here to the local time frames here, we did come down to our key level of support. And for what it's worth, just because the line is here, we did get a nice little SFP here. We came back to retest support one more time. And we do actually have some bullish divergences here, guys. We did get the 30-minute bull div. We did get the 1 hour bull div, which is now printing, right? This was like almost printing. I was in the premium Discord. We actually had a scalp long set up here, which wound up playing out like literally like picture perfect, guys. We had exactly what we wanted to see happen. We wanted to come down into this range, tap the value area low with our bullish divergences, and you can see we have the lower lows on price action, higher lows on our momentum waves, and then we also did get that swing failure pattern, and we wound up getting that to play out like instantly. We tapped the level, it started launching, and then Bitcoin wanted to go on another side quest back to the downside. So we'll see. We'll see if this winds up playing out. Let me see. I think I actually still have these set up here in a folder. Where's it at? Where's it at? There it is, right? And you guys can actually see this, right? You can never time it perfectly, right? We were looking for yesterday. Actually, let me bring this up because I think this will actually help people learn a little bit. Let me actually pull our update up from yesterday in the premium, right? Looking at the money flow, saying like, well, hey, guys, we're back below that value area high. I'm going to be looking for a drop back below that POC. And then eventually we're going to look to come into that value area low where we're going to be looking for very specific confirmations. Some of those confirmations were a below time frame bullish divergences. And we even got that 1 hour, which is a little bit of extra confirmation. But, and obviously we did get a little side quest to the upside, as you guys can see, right? We did come back up. But you can see you're never going to call price action perfectly, right? It's the general idea. This is why you have to trust in TA. Just because it's not doing exactly what you thought does not mean that you're not going to get that set up or you're not going to get price to play out to where you think, right? The general thought process here was like, well, hey, if we're going to fill this volume profile in full, where's the next place I'm going to look for a bounce? Right down here at that value area low, golden pocket, anchor, VWAP, daily, weekly, NPOCs, all that support that we had down here. And the thought here would be that, maybe we can get a move up to the POC, flip the POC, go to the value area high, and then target the liquidity that we have sitting above here that we looked at on yesterday's live stream, literally with you guys. So, yeah, we'll see. I'll be honest. With the way money flow looks right now, I was telling the Discord, probably want to treat this a little bit carefully on the way up, right? If we can make it to that POC, which we already almost did, we barely front ran that point of control. If we could get up there, right, not a bad place to maybe lock in some profits because the way money flow looks right now, it is... It does look like, we could potentially see that, lower high, lower low situation where we get the continuation down. But it doesn't mean that you can't take a trade on that confirmation. But you can just see here, right? It's like, almost follows your line, but you're never going to get it absolutely perfect. But you could get it. When you know how to read the charts like we do, you can get it, pretty dang close, right? It's like almost exactly what we were looking for. I can't promise it's going to play out like we want it to. Oftentimes it does. This long from the golden pocket played out perfectly, but maybe we get stopped out on this. I don't know. But we'll have to see, right? Losing trades or getting stopped out is simply a part of the game, guys. Like a lot of people ask me, how can I get my psychology down, right? Like how can I stop, getting emotional in my trades or like letting my emotions get in the way of my execution or whatever it is. And I think at the end of the day, it comes down to not chasing money and just focusing on the craft of actually trading. And then another thing that really, really does help is the fact that like when you're trading, right, you're never going to be right 100% of the time. So you have to get that emotional attachment of being correct out of your brain, right? Because sometimes you'll get the perfect confirmations and things won't play out. Doesn't mean your strategy is bad. Doesn't mean your execution is bad. I mean, it might, right? But for the most part, you just have to accept that sometimes you're going to be wrong, and that's okay. It's a part of the game of trading. There's never going to be a place in your trading journey where things just, you're going to have that kind of aha moment where it starts to click for you, but it's never just going to be like it clicks and then you're easily just like winning every single trade and you never lose, right? I lose trades too, and I like to share them with you guys when I do to show you that's like realistic, right? I don't just like win every single one of my trades. Sometimes I get stopped out, and when I do, I like to show that to you guys because it's just a part of the game of trading. It's like a business, right? Getting stopped out is a cost of doing business. It's like I always use the analogy of a casino, which is funny because I was just in Vegas, but do you think the casino gets mad? Well, here's a perfect example, right? I'm not super cooked, but I got a little cooked on blackjack, right? I started winning, right? I was doing good. I was doing good, right? Do you think the casino was thinking like, oh my God, that guy's winning at blackjack, like our business is going to go down? No, because they understand that the odds are stacked in their favor, which is similar to a trader's strategy having the odds stacked in their favor, but they have to take losses here and there, right? They're not going to close down their business because somebody hit 10K on a slot machine. They're just going to be like, all right, that was a cost of doing business. If they stay long enough, we'll get that money back. And even if that guy leaves and takes the money, we're going to have other people that come in, and over time, we're going to remain profitable. So it's very similar with trading. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. But, it's not a signal, right? The setup was down here. This is not a signal. You should never trade based off what someone says. I just share my ideas with people in the Discord, and, more often than not, they do play out. But, yeah, it's not financial advice. But let's see. Shout out to Skizzle, said LMAO. We back, baby. Let's go. Shout out to Skizzle. Let's see. I boxed my white fat and lost in Steak Arena. Shout out to Kevin. I don't even really know if I know what that means. Shout out to Kevin. Let's see. Tony D says, really good analogy. We should start a Frankie analogy / metaphor series. Yeah, people always tell me, they're like, dang, bro. Like, I sometimes I don't understand something. I just use an analogy and it clicks for me. And I think the reason I'm able to do that is because that helps me learn as well. Let's see. Yo, shout out to One Hype Soul, said I hit for 5,400 on Saturday playing Top Dollar Machine. God is good. Let's go. Shout out to Hype Soul. Let's go, baby. Congratulations, bro. Run, because I was up, and then they cooked me, guys. They cooked me. I should have left. But that's okay. I'm never gamble more than you're willing to lose. But anyway, let's see. We got Jesse in the chat. Don't forget to smash that like button, guys. If we get 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream, we will be giving away $200 in Solana on Friday. If we get 550, we'll give away some Frankie Candles t-shirts and maybe a beautiful Frankie Candles hat, which is a Richardson 112, which is the Louis Vuitton hats if you don't know. Let's see. Potential bull div coming in the 90-minute. Also, what Spiritual said, which is the 1 hour bull div. I think we got a bounce here. I think we get a bounce here. Also, look at the 2 day and the 1 day money flow. Yes, so this is actually something I wanted to bring up. I'll just hide this position real quick. Let me get rid of these lines. It is always fun to keep those lines on there to see how close you can get it. But if we take a look at the 1 day or the daily time frame, money flow starting to pop back to the upside. This is better than nothing. This doesn't necessarily mean that like you're definitely gonna rip back to the upside on money flow, but binarily, right? Which is not a word, but from a binary perspective, right? Like this is better to see than just have money flow tanking to the downside. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens. I will say, in a consolidation like this, I am being very careful with the trades in here. Like any of these trades, I am treating as like day trades or scalps. My next swing positions, I mean, to be honest, like maybe down here. I don't even really love this level either. I would say I would really, be looking for the bigger trades down at 112 to 110K. If this one, winds up, sending it to the upside, I am still holding my long from down here, and I am also holding my long from much lower. So no, I will get paid out on that. But I am going to be very careful here, guys, because it's like, if Bitcoin just wants to go, right, it could just happen very quickly and out of nowhere, and when it moves, it's going to move. I would say money flow is pointing against this scenario, right? Money flow would be pointing more towards like a bigger retracement coming in. But I have to be very clear, in a situation like this, in this current market environment, unexpected things can happen, right? Like you might get a fake out on the money flow. I wouldn't say this confirms a money flow fake out. This could eventually just roll back over. And, when you look at this in hindsight, it's just like, well, hey, this was like pretty clearly trending down. But this is better than nothing, right? Hopefully we can just keep cooking to the upside here. But I would say red dot, whoops, wow. He just totally missed that red dot. Red dot with the 90 and 80 minute money flow crossover. I mean, this is a market cipher be bearish setup. We do have the 90 minute slight bull div here. We have the 1 hour bull div. So we'll see if we can get a little push to the upside here off those signals. But again, I am still just like yesterday. If we get the push up, exactly what we were looking at yesterday, going to be looking for potential lower highs and lower lows. If we break them, then great, we could send it back to the upside. Now, if we get a push to the upside, guys, I will say, if we pull up the liquidation heat maps real quick, as we looked at yesterday, you guys can see here, sitting between about 120 right above the previous highs into about 121,000. I would say 121.6 is really where the bulk of that liquidity kind of like starts dying off. A pretty hot spot of liquidity sitting up here, which is kind of why on that long position I am, if we do get out of this volume profile, we could eventually target that liquidity. But, if we do get a push to the upside, this is still a major level of resistance. There is still a possibility that if we did come up there, you could get a big rejection, sweep that liquidity, and come back down. Line in the sand to new all-time highs does remain exactly the same. It is going to be the 786 at about 121,634. I would like to see high time frame candle closures above that because remember, that liquidity sits pretty much all the way up to pretty much the 786, 121.6. 786 is sitting at 121.4. But, if you come up there, you do have to be careful that you might SFP up there and then get a bigger drop to the downside. But if we can get above that level and start holding it as support, right, that could be your doorway to higher prices. I am simply sitting on my hands, taking the little range trades in here with the premium and, just waiting for those bigger levels. I will also be interested in potential short positions up here as well. I'll have to see what price action looks like when we get up in there. But that's pretty much my plan. We come up here, I could look for shorts, and then if we flip that 786, I'm looking for new all-time highs. And then if we do come down, which I would say market cipher B is probably pointing more towards, unless we get some kind of a fake out, which is very hard to predict. So I am kind of being agnostic up here, just trying to take my money and run. And if we do get that money flow to, end up being right, which it is more often than it isn't, we'll look for that bigger retracement. We'll just wait for those next key levels for the next big long positions, right? We waited for this level for, let's call it ever since this high, right? We were waiting for this level to get hit down here for 11 days, right? Just waiting patiently. But eventually we do get down there, we catch the long and make a bunch of money, right? So, it does take some time to, be patient and let these levels get hit, but we'll see. We're not getting the most aggressive reaction off this level just yet. But this is definitely major, major key support. When you see that thumbnail, when you see the title, Bitcoin testing key support, this is the level that I'm talking about. And no, if it's lost, it doesn't mean bear market. It just means potential larger correction, in my personal preference, hopefully no lower than 112 to 110K. Once we start breaking that, we're going to be on oh my God, this is the level we need to hold. So we'll see what happens. Shout out to Daniel Spooner. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you so much. It says difference between Lux Algo Oscillator and Market Cipher B. Shout out to Daniel. I get this question all the time. They're just different indicators, right? I think most people, when they ask me that question, they're trying to tell me or trying to ask me which one is better. That's not really how indicators work, right? From my personal experience and in my perspective, Market Cipher B's money flow and the Lux Algo Oscillator Matrix money flow is different. One is not better than the other. I would say that the Lux Algo Matrix Oscillator money flow is a little more reactive to price, meaning you get more crossovers, where Market Cipher B is a little bit more slower moving. Slower does not mean bad. It just means a little bit different. When I mention money flow, I am very often, more often than not, talking about Market Cipher's money flow. But it does not mean that Lux Algo's is bad. It's just a little bit different, right? Maybe I can even pull this up. Let's see here. Yeah, you could just see Lux Algo gets a lot of pushes into the red, back into the green, back into the red. It's just a little bit more reactive, which could arguably be a little better for scalping. But, you can see here it's still very accurate, right? Money flow crosses into the red right here, right? And then you get that drop to the downside. Money flow crosses back into the green. You get a move up. But it is a little bit more reactive than Market Cipher B, right? You pull up Market Cipher B, it's just it's a little bit longer to see those moves happen. So, yeah, they're just different indicators. I would say Lux Algo is a little bit more reactive, kind of like an EMA versus a regular moving average. The EMAs actually move a little faster. So that's what I would say the difference between those oscillators are. But they are very similar, right? Just like I look for divergences, right? When I'm looking at the 1 hour time frame here and we see this 1 hour bullish divergence printing, right? You have the lower lows on price action, higher lows on your momentum waves. Almost every single time you're going to have those same signals on the, you can see it here as well, right? It's just like a momentum oscillator. So you still have that bullish divergence here on the Lux Algo oscillator. And the nice thing about Lux Algo, I will say, is they do mark out divergences. There is a setting to have a line pop up when you get a divergence, which is really nice, especially for new people. So they're very, very, similar, I would say. but just a little different as far as like how fast they react to price action. So there you go. Hopefully that helps you out. Thank you for the super chat. Let's see. Let's see. Interesting. Shout out to Perry says Lux Algo reminds me of MACD and Market Cipher. Market Ciphers remind almost like the RSI. Yeah. Shout out to Perry. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good assessment there. But yeah, I do want to take a look at some of the altcoins, guys. But again, also if we take a look at the 2-day, I forgot who said that. We do have 2-day VWAP is it's hanging out down here. It's getting a little rejection, right? It's like yeah. I mean, this is I would say I am oftentimes very cautiously optimistic, like, hey, guys, I'm optimistic here, but we have to keep an eye on these bearish signals. I would be like the opposite of that. I'm like cautiously bearish, right? Because Market Cipher's money flow is saying, potential continuation down. And again, if you guys watch this show, you'll know how accurate that can be. But the in this case, I would say it's like, I'm cautiously bearish, right? It's like, sure, money flow is crossing down, coming out with the Market Cipher B116 strategies looking to print. But, maybe we can just get like, we have the 2-day VWAP. If this crosses over, it gives us a green dot. You also have the daily money flow starting to pop up. So, is this the start of a money flow fake out back into the green? It could be, but that's just not something I can make. That's just not going to invalidate the, money flow generally trending down, right? You come in, put in a lower high. Over time, that is just a trend to the downside. There's plenty of times where Market Cipher or anything can kind of like fake back out up. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. Like, even here, it's like, oh, my God, money flow's coming out. Oh, wait, it's coming back up. And then you just continue down, right? It's all about trend on money flow. You are fighting a red dot here as well. So, Market Cipher definitely pointing down, in my opinion. But hopefully, especially with where we are in the market, like as far as like the market cycle, I wouldn't be surprised, if you get a shocker rip to the upside, this would be an interesting place, or a, potentially likely place to do it, but that's just not what I'm going to trade based off of. Like, this long position is not just based off of like, oh my God, we're going to all-time highs. It would be at least just a little day trade or a scalp into the POC where I would be very cautious, get up to the value area high, also being very cautious. And then even when you get up here, still got to be, you got to flip that 786, right? And again, if we're looking for massive moves to the upside, what do we want to see on money flow? You want to see it in the red crossing into the green, right? Or at least just thick in the green on the daily, right? You do not want money flow coming out for a massive move up. Just like I showed on that previous range right here. You have this clear range. Price is bing-bonging around. Oh, my God, we're bearish. Oh, my God, we're bullish. Oh, my God, we're bearish, right? But what's the money flow doing? It's coming out. It's high or low, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and then out, right? That makes it higher probability that you break to the downside to potentially retest the previous structure. Are we going to see the same thing happen in the current price action? It could be. It could be. If it's not going to play out like that, we would have to just say, hey, the indicators are going to be wrong and they're going to fake us out to the upside. I have to be aware of the bullish and bearish case because that's just how we do as traders, right? So yeah, nice to see that money flow come up. It's not quite there yet to make me be like, oh my God, this is a fake out. But hopefully it is. I just want to see green. Shout out to D Knights, DK Insight. Shout out to you. Yeah, I want to see green as well, bro. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Cap says, K-Fam, I got to go get ready for work. Shout out to Cap. Thank you for being here. We love you. CandleMafia Mama, show her some love on the way out. Jesse says, mad love. You have a great day. Let's see. Can we take a look at VeChain? Yeah, we'll take a look at VeChain today. No problemo. What about Ethereum now? It has all kinds of bullish indicators with green dots confirmed, etc. Shout out to USM. I'm going to keep an eye here on Bitcoin. I'm going to set some alerts in case we do come down and tap some levels. I'll set an alert back here underneath the value area low, just in case we do break that again. And we will come back here in a minute, but I will just take a quick look at Ethereum here, guys. Let me come in. Actually, let me pull up the alt charts here real quick. Bada boom, bada bing, right? So we did cover Ethereum yesterday, right? As we were looking at last week, we were looking at this as being a very key level of support between the golden pocket value area high. If we do get a retracement, this will be the first level to be looking at for a potential bounce. You get the breakout of the range, the retest of the range, and then a higher high to come in. We did get that to play out very nicely. However, when we look at this, right, when we look at just money flow in general, right, money flow, I would say here on Ethereum, look at this. I haven't seen wonky money flow this wonky in a while. Even this first wave is like, whoa, all the way back down. And then, like, this is just This is kind of wild money flow. I don't know if I've ever seen a money flow wave look like that. So this is definitely a bit choppy, in my opinion. You are pretty thick in the green. This is nice. You're even peaking up locally here as well. And the reason why I would say this is a little bit more indicative of what might come rather than Bitcoin's money flow ticking up is because we're still pretty thick in the green here, right? Like Bitcoin is like pretty close to like coming out, right? So when we take a look at Ethereum, money flow still generally thick in the green. VWAP getting rejected at the 0 line. I would say if you are going to get another bigger move up, that green dot on the daily is probably what you want to see. When we look at 90-minute money flow, it's kind of just flat. 80-minute money flow, kind of flat, coming up a little bit locally. Not really much to take away from that. Take a look at the 2-day. 2-day VWAP kind of just still hanging out down there. These VWAPs can hang out below the 0 line for quite some time. So, again, not too much to take away from there. You are just kind of below that 0 line. Taking a look at the 3-day, red dot confirmed, but the money flow, like I would still say, guys, longer term here, even with bigger rejections to the downside, let's say we have to come back down and retest this daily MPOC at 34.35, still an opportunity for a bounce back up. Why? Because of your money flow coming up. The money flow indicates the overall trend. Does that make sense? The red and green dots indicate the ebbs and flows, right? But the money flow indicates the overall trend. So if this money flow continues into the green, right, it's okay to get retracements, but the higher low and the higher high is going to be more likely. Doesn't mean you can't retrace more. It doesn't mean it's not going to be scary, right? Even if we break down below this support, if we start losing about, 34.30, I would probably be looking closer to about, 31.54 at this daily MPOC and potentially down here to this next pocket of MPOCs that we have sitting between I would call it 3,000 and 2,800, dang near 2,800. And again, you do also have like these structural highs here, right? So even coming down there, it would kind of stink to come back into this volume profile because at that point you're thinking, well, hey, we deviated above, we're back in the profile. Are we gonna make it to the POC? But because of that money flow, if it stays in the green, higher lows and higher highs, it wouldn't be horrible to retest that structure. Although I would much prefer to just kind of stay, up here and then send it to the upside. But we're gonna have to let things develop here, guys. 4-day red dot is also about to print, right? This would also indicate more of a retracement. Again, it wouldn't necessarily mean zero. But red dot could give you an ever flow to the downside, right? And then maybe if that money flow continues up on the 3-day, you could put in the higher low and the higher high. 4-day money flow still kind of just chilling in the red here. I don't love this 4-day money flow if I'm being honest. 5-day green money flow crossover, like this is pretty nice. We're starting to see that cross into the green. Again, VWAP coming down. So, again, retracements. At this point, guys, like retracements are not going to be like the most scary thing in the world for me. Just because of money flow, just because of the, macroeconomic situation, I would not be expecting rate cuts this month, guys. I know a lot of people are saying, oh my God, surprise rate cuts. This has changed, right? A lot of people were anticipating that. I do think it is going to be much less likely to see that happen. If it does happen, it would be a complete and total shock, which could be very bullish, but you can't really just like bet against the probabilities. I would really, the place where I would be anticipating rate cuts would probably be September. And at the end of the day, guys, right? Like, sure, we have Ethereum, which is the mother of all altcoins, getting that money flow crossover into the green, which is very nice, right? Like even here, right? Like, let's look at back here. Whoops. Just look back here towards 2020 and 2021 bull market, right? You get a little pullback, right? Like even here, you break out, pull back. This was to the tune of, give it, 36%. You get a push back up, a little pullback to the tune of 15%. You get another move up, right? You get a little pullback. This one with a scary wick of about 32%. Another move to the upside. Another wick down of about 28%, right? So these 30% corrections are not unlikely on the way up. 33% right before we wound up coming all the way up here. And what was happening here, right? Why would you be anticipating the continuation up even on these 30% plus corrections? Well, look at your money flow. 5-day money flow absolutely cooking here. So yeah, that's kind of like, pullbacks can happen, right? 30% pullback here. Let's see. Wow, well, wouldn't you know? It brings you right down into that zone. Interesting, right? So just to kind of put that into perspective, right? It's like, it's okay if you get those pullbacks. And at the end of the day, again, based off the context, I would hate to come back into this volume profile, but it would not be bear market territory for me, especially if money flow is continuing up. So there we go. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Robbie93 says, Frankie, please send a shout out to my grandsons 3 and 5. They are here watching and enjoying your lives. Hey, shout out to Robbie, not the first young CandleMafia members teaching them young. I love that. They got to learn how to make money. Maybe you can avoid the whole rat race if they become expert day traders by the time they're 10. But shout out to Owen and Chase. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for watching my show. And Yeah, your grandpa's the man. Let's go. Shout out to Robbie, Owen, and Jace. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you so much. This is why I like to keep it family friendly. But anyway, let's continue on here. August 1st dump. Whoo, baby. Could be. And actually, what I wanted to do here real quick, I want to take a quick look at Bitcoin here real quick. Bada boom. And let me just see something here. This is honestly, I'll be be honest with you guys, this is kind of just something I wanted to do earlier today and did not have the chance to. So let me see something here. Where are we at? Let me see this. Pull up the daily. I'm going to pull a trend-based fib time here real quick. I'm going to go from this high. Just want to pull this from a few different places. This is very like experimental, guys. I'm not going to walk you guys exactly through this. August 6th. I'm going to pay attention August 6th. I'm actually going to leave this on the chart. I can't tell you if this is going to be a big move up or a big move down, but I will just tell you I'm going to pay attention. Could be a big pivot that happens here. August 6th, which is not far from August 1st. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, it was kind of more for me. But anyway, hate to be selfish on the live streams, guys. But let's see. No fib talk, everybody. Kids are in the room. We do pull a lot of fibs here. And those are Fibonacci retracements. Let's see. Big ups, G-Pod. Shout out to B. Griffin. Let's go. Hey. Jason Owen, you even got the CandleMafia shouting you out. I love that. Let's see. August 6th on my scope. Hey, shout out to Perry. We'll see. August 6th. We'll man, that'd be sick if we get a move there. In my opinion, right? We've pulled up this chart many of times. Where's it at? Let me see. Maybe I won't be able to find this. I'm probably not gonna be able to find it. Yeah, I'll just skip that. But anyway, so yeah, for Ethereum, taking a look at the lower time frames, or not lower, but daily is not necessarily a low time frame, but it's much lower than the 5-day. Let's check the 16-hour red dot confirmed. Yeah, you avoided the daily red dot, which is nice. So yeah, I mean, I'll be honest here, guys. That it would make sense with these higher time frame red dots incoming to get a little bit more of a retracement. But again, I'm like cautiously pessimistic, right? I'm like, we're buried. Money flow, high time frame red dots could pull us back. But hey, maybe we're at that point where we're just going to see a surprise rip to the Ethereum just transformed into Bitcoin, guys. Maybe we could just see that, surprise or rip to the upside. But I got to bring those warning signs, when the pullbacks are looking like they want to come. But again, even the 2-day money flow, thick in the green, continuing to come up. This is bullish overall. So, again, the tune of my live streams has been don't be scared if you get those pullbacks for another move up. All right, let's see. Pull those lucky hands on alts. Let's go. Shout out to Pranav. Welcome in, man. Welcome in. August 9th is a full moon. Ooh, interesting. That's not too far from August 6th. Okay, so let's continue on here. Let's take a look at, you guys can throw some altcoins in the chat. Please do not super chat them. If you super chat an altcoin, I cannot guarantee you that we will get a look at it. So save your money, put them in the free chat. But we will take a look at some stuff here. I'll do a quick little check-in on Solana, or Solonzo as some people like to say. And we're just still kind of playing around with that value area low. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, guys. We really want to reclaim this value area low if we don't want a bigger pullback. If we get the bigger pullback, don't freak out, right? We still have the 786 here. I'm actually gonna come on in here and take a look at that golden pocket. So we've already come down to the golden pocket, right? So you have your, you have your low, your high. Golden pocket would be an area to look for a higher low before a higher high. However, if we cannot reclaim this value area low and we lose the golden pocket, next key level of support will be sitting down here at about 166.83. So keep an eye on that level. Yeah, I would say 167.72 down, $167, right? I'll just keep it nice and simple. That's the value area high. That's the 786 confluence. And again, it is also the retest of that breakout. Nice big old breakout retest. That is, once we lose this, I don't love that, right? Because at that point, you're getting back into your range. Doorway to the POC is open. Sure, you have some intermediary support, but we'll have to wait for price to get down here before we can actually assess that information and make any decisions off of it, right? If it looks like garbage down here, I'm thinking, hey, lost the value area high, chart looks bad, probably going down to the PLC and potentially the value area low. But again, if we get the pullback, that's not my base case, right? If we get a continued pullback, lose the golden pocket, all eyes on $167. This is an area where you could get the bounce from. And then, you really don't want to get septed back into this volume profile, because even if you're going to bounce out of it, it just makes it difficult trades, right? Because it's like, hey, if I long here, I'm still below key resistance, which calls for a magnetic fill of this range, right? Doesn't mean you can't rip out of here. It just makes it a little bit more of a difficult trade. So I would really, if we were going to bounce, if we're going to get back into this value area and bounce out in a huge way, I would say I would need some really, really, really strong confirmation. Like the chart would have to look really good down here. So yeah, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Hey, maybe we have the low, the higher low, and this is just a local retracement before getting back in and shooting back up to the PLC. That is also in the cards. Let me see if we're coming down to some local fibs here. Yeah, so I actually think we looked at this level yesterday. You have your value area low, your golden pocket, and your 786, right? So this is kind of the zone you don't want to lose. If you lose this, I would say the golden pocket is support, but we've already tapped it. So I would be less confident in this golden pocket. So if we lose the 786 at about 179.79, I would probably anticipate more of a continuation down towards that 786. Is it impossible to bounce off the golden pocket again? No, but typically you'll have the low, the high, the higher low, and then the higher high. So hopefully this is just like a little retracement before getting back in. But if it's not, I'd be looking at $167. All eyes on that $167 level. And not going to lie, throughout this entire profile, we had called every key level of support, and Solana likes to respect our levels. So take that for what it's worth. All right, let's see. Bada boom. All right, so let's take a whoa. Hang on, guys. I accidentally got rid of chat. Okay, we're back. Let's take a quick look at. I'm just gonna do a quick check-in on XRP. I'm gonna skip this for today, guys, just because we are literally just sitting in the same exact level, similar to Solana, right? We're just like, we already got the golden pocket and the 786 retracement, right? So key level here, daily MPOC at 286. Lose that. You're losing the anchored VWAP. You're losing the MPOC. You're losing the 786. I'd probably be looking a bit lower. Big level here, 260 at the value area high, just like everything else. It is the scene of the breakout. So, even if it had to get pretty scary here, right, there is a possibility of that happening before a real parabola starts to form. And let me just grab this fib. Pull it to the impulse. Yeah, you have your 786 down there as well. So I would say, like, most important levels here going to be the daily MPOC locally at 286, and then, yeah, you could be on your way down to the value area high. Honorable mention when you pull to the impulse here, golden pocket. I'll mark this out. I don't want to give too many levels here, right? Like long-term, this value area high is going to be absolutely huge. 786 confluence, you really do not want to lose that. So, yeah, I mean, you lose where we are right now. It's like, you're losing the 786. I don't even really know if I love this support. But this anchored VWAP is all the way from the low. This currently sits at 293. So if we don't hold this zone, look down here again, right? We could push deeper. We already bounced off the MPOC, but we could push a little deeper into that zone. Once you lose that, I would honestly be expecting an eventual move down to the value area high, 786. But there is the honorable mention of the golden pocket starting at 278. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Crypto Billy with the $50 super chat. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you, Crypto Billy. Says, do not be fooled. There is only one CandleMafia, the first, the only, the best, led by our fearless leader and man of honor, character and love, my friend Frankie Candles. P.S. Happy birthday, Rob. Shout out to Crypto Billy, bro. Thank you so much for that super chat. Thank you for the kind words. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Is today Tuesday? Tuesday, Billy Goat Tales on X. Let's go. Shout out to Crypto Billy. And Billy, you did change the time, right? It used to be 9. Is it now 8 p.m.? Let me know in the chat so we don't give people the wrong time. But go check out Billy Goat Tales on X, guys. The best X space. Twitter space. I can't say X space. I'm sorry. It's a Twitter space. I just can't get used to X. But shout out to Crypto Billy. I appreciate you so much. And let everybody know the time for Billy Goat Tales so I don't, lead people to the wrong time. They'll get there and the room will be empty. And they'll be like, what the heck happened? But shout out to Crypto Billy. I appreciate you so much, bro. You're the GOAT. And hashtag Givers Gain. Let's go. All right, let's see. The pump only happens after you beat up your muscles. More down. Shout out to AR Perez. Let's go. Let's see. Tell her to polish the disco ball before OC comes on. Shout out to K Diggity. I don't even know what that means. Shout out to K Diggity. Let's see. Okay, so let's just go real quick. That was XRP. We'll come back to this, guys. I mean, there's really nothing to update here. I don't want to waste time. Let's go ahead and jump into VeChain, or VET, as some people like to say. Let's take a look here. VeChain. All right, so yeah, okay, this fib has to move, right? Because we did get a new high made there, but your 786 golden pocket is still on your POC zone. So biggest key level of support on VeChain does remain exactly the same as it has in the past, sitting right here, almost exactly the same. Golden pocket moved up just a bit between about 0.023 and 0.022. 786 golden pocket, POC confluence, and this golden pocket is pulled from the impulse, right? If we pull it all the way down to the current low, still brings you to the bottom of that zone like pretty much perfectly, so that's not that bad. So I would just still look at this major zone as support, right? You've kind of already come down to tap the golden pocket, unless this is just like a little mini retracement onto the golden pocket 786 before a continuation up towards the value area high. If we lose that, I would probably be looking down towards the POC 786. Once you lose that 786, that's where you can look down to potentially open the door back down to the value area low. But as always, you want to keep an eye on these retracement levels. I don't love these setups, right? Because if you get a move down here below that POC, lose the golden pocket, bounce off the 786, it's like if you're going to long this, right, you're like longing directly into resistance. The one nice thing here is we have, I don't know, we front ran that value area low too, which is interesting. I would definitely look at this as your key level of support, right? 0.02377 to 0.02213. That's your biggest level of support. Lose the 786. That's where I would start looking for lower prices. Looking at our money flow on the daily, cruising to the upside. This actually, money flow does not look bad. Not that you can't come back out. That money flow is trending up, though, which is pretty nice. So, we'll watch this. If we can get that to cross over into the green, this would support the continuation. This would support the continuation of the overall uptrend. Bada boom, bada bing. If we do end up getting the bigger breakout, right? Money flow crosses up. It would indicate, well, hey, next target to the upside would be the value area high. The one thing that I'm, to be quite honest with you guys, you can see here we front ran it too, so it doesn't mean you have to go back to the value area low. But typically, it's like you tap the low, you go to the high. You tap the high, you go to the low. We front ran that low. But again, there are times where you could just front run and send it. This was actually the last time back in November and December where we actually got the massive move to the upside. So for what it's worth, I would watch this key level of support. Lose the 786. We could come a little bit deeper, but until you lose this value area low at 0.01788, you might just bing bong around in the range. We're inside the volume profile, right? So until we wind up breaking down out of here, it's like, at the end of the day, we're typically looking for longs down here anyway, but it's as long as you're inside this range, we could potentially continue to fill it. So that's what I'd be looking at on VeChain. 2-day money flow crossed over into the green, coming up locally here. So VWAP still kind of hanging out there a little bit sketchy, but it is money flow still headed in the right direction, right? It's like all about money flow here. Like the last correction or the last push to the upside, you could see money flow came into the green, and then it even came back into the red for another drop to the downside. But eventually, right, we had already spent all this time in the red, right? We had spent pretty much, I'll just include the fake out there, 170 days in the red. At that point, right, it's probably time, once you start seeing even a fake out into the green, and even from before the fake out, right, you're in that red for 140 days. You start to peek into the green, it's like, hey, like this is probably a good sign, right? We've already spent a ton of time in the red, and then you see that fake out, and you're like, well, hey, if we come back into the red, we're probably going to continue that trend to the upside because it's probably about time to see some kind of at least retracement, if not big pop to the upside. So, even if this comes back into the red, I would say the same thing, right? This money flow crossover into the red has been here for 150 days, which hilariously enough is extremely close to what it was last time. So, yeah. Overall, money flow looks good. Doesn't mean you can't pull back, right? Money flow looked good here as well. Right? But what happens? And this is like where I think a lot of people get tripped up. They're like, what the heck? I thought money flow looked good. And it's like, it did, right? And it does. And this pullback does not really change that much, right? Not to say that you can't like tank into another big red wave, but like to see after 140 days in the red, to just see it come back into a massive red wave is like very unlikely in my opinion. So it doesn't mean that you can, this is a pretty crazy dump, right? It's like a 22% dump, right? That's a scary drop. But at the end of the day, the trend overall did continue to the upside. You finally got that fill of the range, flipped it to support, and then sent it off into your previous value area. So it's very, very similar situation. You have the 2-day money flow crossover. 3-day money flow still pretty thick in the red. It's not coming out but it is pretty thick in the red. 4-day is coming out pretty aggressively. That's not the best sign. 5-day is coming up. Yeah, money flow kind of choppy here on the higher time frames, if I'm being totally honest here. Yeah, weekly money flow coming in the right direction. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Watch that key local level of support. That's what I'm looking at on VeChain. And then until we get down to 0.01792, I wouldn't be that worried. So there we go. Shout out to Perry, bro. Thank you for the empty super chat. Hopefully you didn't mean to write something there. If you did, just drop it in the free chat. Hopefully the mods can see it. Mods, if you see Perry say what he wanted to say, just let me know. I don't want him to have to spend more money. But let's see. Yo, shout out to Wick589 said, Perry knows. He says he wants to request TA on his 10 favorite alts. Shout out to Wick589. Let's go. It's ticker sign nothing. Shout out to Wick. Shout out to Perry. Said, hit those likes for my boy Frankie. Let's go run it up, guys. Let's hit 550 in the next. I don't know where we're at right now. I can't see the likes. But in the next minute and 30 seconds, let's run it up to 550. And if we get 550, we'll give away some Frankie Candles hats on Friday's giveaway. If we hit 1,000 somehow, we're going to need Bitcoin to make a move to get 1,000. But if we can get 1,000, I'll give away $200 in Solana. Let's do it, baby. Come on, let me give away some money. We got a minute and 30 seconds. Let's go. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Wolf of Crypto. Says, late to the stream as usual. I'm going back in time to when you were talking about BTC. Feels like yesterday. It was actually yesterday in my country. Yo, shout out to Wolf of Crypto. Let's go. All right, let's see. Yo, Looney in the chat. Shout out to Looney, bro. Hey, Looney. It was awesome meeting you, bro. Shout out to Looney. We saw Looney in Vegas. Crazy. Mafia strong, baby. Mafia strong. Coolest thing in the world, guys. I will say this time and time again. My favorite part of this job is meeting the Mafia in real life and putting faces to names. Super down to earth. Good person. And it's crazy. Every time I meet somebody in real life, guys, it's just like I feel like I already know them. We met and we were just like boys. We were like gambling together. It was super dope. So shout out to Looney, bro. Awesome to meet you. Let's see. All right, so let's continue on. All right, that's a minute. We got another 30 seconds. Run it up to 550, baby. Let's go. We can do it. Smash that like button. I'll hit the lower third. Let me try to hit this lower third. Get some more likes. Let's go. Guys, look. Visual aid. But anyway, let's continue. Shout out to Brett Hartman. Frankie, we're the super chat every day. Did I miss something? Oh, sent a super chat last week for XCN and cookies analysis. If not, no worries. Frankie's worth a super chat every day. Hey, shout out to Brett. I appreciate you, bro. Let's see. XCN and cookies. There's that. Oh, that 30 seconds went fast. All right. Thought I started the timer again. All right, did we hit 550? Let's see. Somebody let me know. I literally can't see the likes. But let's see. Moonwell. Yeah, we can take a look at Moonwell. All right, we'll get those out. We'll see where it brings us in the stream here. Can we prorate the likes? Shout out to Broby1 Kenobi. All right, let's continue on here. All right, so let's take a look at XCN real quick. Took a look at VeChain. Took a look at all the big boys. Take a look at XCN. Is that our XCN chart? There we go. All right, let's take a look here. So we had this. Yeah, I mean, this is the area you wanted to hold. We didn't lose this 786, which is very nice to see, right? 0.011671. We didn't lose that. That's a great sign. But yeah, we got the bounce back into our volume profile. I'm going to go ahead and take this stuff off the chart because this is pretty old. We haven't looked at this in quite some time. This fib is super old. We can get rid of this. I'll take this off because this is really easy to pull back up. I'll get rid of this. All right, so when we look at this, right, deviation below the low. I'll get rid of. Actually, I'll keep that. We'll get rid of this. Deviation below the low. Value area low retest. Value area low retest. Value area low retest. We finally get back in. Next stop is the POC. We tap it again, and now we're just getting rejected back out. This is a very clear example of why I like to take TP1s. For example, if I were in a long position, say from down here into the value area low, I probably would have TP'd here and then another TP at the POC. But this is why I take these at least, even when I'm just trading. Let's say I enter in on the value area low. I do like to take that first TP at the POC because if we do see a situation where you do reject the point of control, right? At that point, you've already got money locked in from the POC, stop loss to break even, and then when you break out here, it's like, or break down here, it's like, okay, well, cool. I just got stopped out in profit, right? I still made money. I lost the trade, but I still made money. So did you really lose the trade? Nah, it just didn't play out in full, which is totally fine. But as of right now, this is still your key value area, right? This is still your doorway to higher prices, just like it was when you got that move up to the POC, right? If we can break back above that, I would look for a move into the POC. I would assume, right, if we do get a bigger breakdown, this price action's a little bit wonky, if I'm being totally honest. I would, the only thing I can really look at here is this other volume profile, because this mess is impossible to pull any levels from. So I will pull this local value area just to give you some more levels to the downside. You have your value area high sitting right here at about 0.015740. I'm not going to say all these levels. I'm just going to mark them off and you guys can read them because I don't want to butcher them. You have your POC, you have your value area low, and you can see we just went POC to POC. You get the impulse. Once you impulse out of a range, where's price going to go? It's going to go into that previous value area, and it's more specifically going to target the POC as it is the highest volume node within the range. So you get the big breakout, you push into the value area low, flip it to support, into the POC. When you impulse out of here, it's going to go to that fair value, and the fairest value is at that point of control. And then we rejected the POC. And then once you impulse out of this range, where are you going to go? Into the previous value. Where is that? It's sitting right down here. You guys just watched me pull this profile live. I did not have this on the chart before. Where does price go? Directly back towards that fair value, which is the POC. So right now, I would say XCN is just kind of bing-bonging around these two profiles. So this is your clear doorway to lower prices, right? And then you have your doorway / bing-bong boom-boom room at the value area low, right? So if we can break back up in here, it's your doorway to the POC again. If we break back down in here, obviously it's your doorway to the POC down here at about 0.014843. And then once you lose that POC, I would be looking down towards the value area low. We came in, back to resistance, back to the value area high. We're just bing-bonging around sideways here, right? We're just stuck between these two ranges. I would say, looking at the daily, money flow attempting to come to the upside. Attempting. Green dot looking to print on the daily. Let's check that 90-minute money flow. It's in the green, and no real market cipher strategy there. Yeah, I mean, it's nice that you don't have the daily red dot. So I would see, if you want to get another move back up to this value area high at about 0.016823, 0.01682, yeah, 821. I don't want to get too nitty-gritty with that. But green dot on the daily might be the thing to be able to do it. And then at that point, right, this is resistance until proven otherwise. If you can flip it to support, look back up towards the POC. Same exact thing you would look at here. Resistance, get back in, POC. Resistance, get back in, POC. And then hopefully, if this daily money flow starts crossing into the green, you could start to look for higher lows and higher highs to fill the entire profile all the way up to the high at about 2 cents. Does that make sense? Right? And then I'm not going to get too ahead of ourselves here, but if you imbalance out of this range, probably going to get accepted into your big boy range up here, leading you up to about 3 cents, which would be very nice. If you can make it up there eventually, nice little 119% move. So that's what I'd be looking at. Higher time frame red dots are confirmed and or printing here. Is that a 5-day blood diamond? Please, for the love of God, don't be a blood diamond. I feel like it is. It's not. Okay, beautiful. Is it a Heiken blood diamond? You don't even have the red dot on the Heiken Ashi candles. Okay. Yeah, so still high time frame red dots. Not impossible to cool off still. I'm not going to lie. But again, just keep in mind here, guys, you did get a 48% pump to the upside and a 25% dump to the downside, 27% dump to the downside. So it's not like super, super scary just yet. Pull your fib from the low to the high. Yeah, we tested that macro golden pocket. You don't want to lose this 786 at 0.014115. You lose that, I'm looking for much lower prices. So I'll leave it there on XCN. Those are the key levels. Hopefully that helps you out. Let's see. Shout out to Eugene Sky. I can't read that out loud. We got kids watching today. People say DOT didn't perform after it just pumped from $3 to $4.60. Shout out to who said that? I think that was Perry. Let's take a look at DOT real quick. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, right? Like, you have to understand that, like, the pullbacks are always going to get, like, a ton of them. I mean, I guess the pumps and the dumps do get emotion, right? But, like, the emotion on the dumps there's just, like, a special spiciness to it, right? Because people don't want price to go down. But, yeah, I mean, you get this beautiful 54% rip to the upside. and now you're down 16%, right? Like this is not, even from a Fibonacci standpoint, right? Like you're not, it's already here, right? You're not even at that golden pocket retracement yet, right? Like technically you can get a move all the way back down to the golden pocket retracement before coming back up for a bigger move. So yeah, I mean, this was, you are losing your doorway to higher prices, AKA the value area low. But again, you might just have to bing bong around here a little bit before you finally get the move. Finally got that 2-day money flow crossover. Money flow has been in the red here for about 168 days, right? So even if you get a little more of a correction, money flow fakes out, I would say it's probably time to see this come into the green at some point very, very soon. Taking a look at Peak. Peak just still sitting here at about 7 cents. This is crazy. Hopefully this thing recovers at some point. I do hold some Peak. Let's see. Thanks, Frankie. If you could do Cookie Duo 2, that would be sweet. You demand. Do you have a ticker on that, Brett? Let me know if you have a ticker on that. I'm sure if I search Cookie, it's okay. Maybe it actually is going to pop up everywhere. Never mind. All right, let's take a look at this as well. I don't really know anything about this, but I will give you quick analysis on this. I'm going to get to some more. I'm going to get some other altcoins in a second, but let's take a look here. Yeah, you got your 5-day red dot, 6-day red dot. I mean, are these all blood diamonds? Yeah, 6-day blood diamond is printing. Weekly blood diamond printing. If this confirms, I'm just going to call this. Like, if this weekly blood diamond confirms, that is a pretty bearish signal. I'm not going to lie. I don't just trade based off this, right? But on top of that, 2-day money flow in the green, 4-day, 5-day. Not a lot of money flow information here. So it's a little hard to call. But, I mean, weekly blood diamond or 6-day blood diamond, definitely a bear sign. Weekly blood diamond, definitely a bear sign. Money flow, at least on the 5-day, looks like it is trying to stay. If this 5-day money flow stays in the green, like, let me just pull your retracement level here. I would say your biggest key level on Cookie is going to be right here at about 13 cents, 0.1339. Lose this. I would probably be expecting to take this low for a break of structure to the downside. But if you can hold this, you could look for a break of structure to the upside. This is your line in the sand, 0.1339. That's what I would look at. But these red dots, like just like everything else, right? These high time frame red dots could continue the pullback. So as long as you hold this, I would say that's good long term. If you lose this, especially with the blood diamonds on the higher time frames, probably not the best look, if I'm being honest. So yeah, I'll kind of leave it at that, right? Because this is not the most clean price action. What I could try to do here, I mean, you could even see here the daily blood diamond gave you like a pretty significant pullback of 40%. These blood diamonds give you a pullback of 71%. Even this little one down here, pullback of about 20%. So be aware. These are pretty bearish signs on the higher time frames. But money flow kind of looks the same as everything else. So let me see here. Let me try to pull you a profile on this. Let's see if this one. Pull this as well. Yeah, this is just pretty wonky, if I'm being honest. So what I'll do is I will get rid of this golden pocket to clean the chart up, and then I will go ahead and pull this range right here. Whoops. Got your value area high, your POC, your value area low. So these would be the local levels I would look at, right? So you have your deviation below, back into the range, back to the POC, back to the low, back to the POC, back to the high, rejected from the high. So you do have local support. 786 is still going to be the biggest key level that I would watch right here. I'm going to label this key. You don't want to lose this. You don't want to lose that. But you do have the value area low here sitting at 15 cents. So, at this point, you've rejected the high with bearish confirmation. POC was next. If you lose this POC, I would look locally down to the value area low at 15 cents. If you start losing that and deviate, you're hoping that you could hold support on that 786, reclaim the value area low, and then fill that range again. If you lose that 786, not a great sign. So there you go. Shout out to Brett. Hopefully that helps you out, bro. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Bullish on Parade. Said, can somebody help me buy erythrium? Shout out to Bullish on Parade. Let's go. Lunar Beaches, what is going on? Welcome in. Good to see you, bro. Long time no see. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, bro. Welcome in. Gen Z wants Zeus and, oh, yeah, Jupiter. Let's take a look at Jupe. We have not looked at this in quite some time. All right, well, MPOC is getting respected pretty well. Weekly MPOC wound up being the low there. Back above the golden pocket, you put in the higher low. This is nice. This probably was a monthly wick. Yeah, very nice. So, and then you get the rejection on the weekly MPOC as well. This is tapped. I mean, these are all tapped at this point, so I'll just get these. I just like to keep these on the chart so you guys kind of have an idea of like where those bounces happen. But now that we know that, I will take that off. Resistance at the weekly MPOC, very nice. I'll leave this one here because we're currently rejecting it. See if I could pull a little bit of a macro range here. I actually like this a lot. Pull this from the high to the low. Boom, boom. Actually, guys, let me change the color of these lines. This is driving me nuts. All right. So you got the POC, you got the value area low. So this will be the range I would look at. I'm going to get rid of this macro fib. This is kind of already tapped. So, yeah, I mean, here you go. Weekly MPOC above the value area high. I mean, you are accepted back into your range here. So if the bigger pullback does continue, a next big key level I would look at would be the 45-cent point of control. Let's pull the oof, yeah, you're right on that anchored VWAP. I would say this is your last chance, right? If you don't bounce off that anchored VWAP and you get underneath this, I would say POC is probably likely at 45 cents. So, I mean, you're at support here. And the idea here, honestly, especially when we look at the, oh, yeah, no daily red dot, 3-hour money flow crossover into the red. Money flow on the 90-minute coming out. Let me check the 16-hour real quick. Yeah, I'll be honest, guys. I kind of want to let things settle. You do have the high time frame red dots, right? 3-day red dot printing, 4-day red dot looking to print. You see that VWAP. Whoops, you see that VWAP coming to the downside. 5-day VWAP rolling over, 6-day VWAP rolling over. VWAP on the weekly also curving down as well. So we could potentially see a little bit of more of a move down. If you don't hold this anchored VWAP, I would be anticipating the POC at 45 cents. Lose the POC at 45 cents, looking down towards the value area low at 40 cents. Just within the profile. Low, POC, back to the low, back to the high. Fulfill the range, right? From the high, back to the POC, deviation, accepted back in, POC, lose the POC to the low, deviation, back in, POC, flip the POC, high, deviation, back in, POC, lose the POC, low. That would be the anticipation if the correction down does continue and those higher time frame red dots do give you the continuation of that, retracement, or probably we'll consider that more of a dump. But you can see here, full 786 retracement right on that value area low. So if you come down there, this would be like a really, really nice place to look for a bounce, in my opinion. Golden pocket right on the POC. These are 100% your biggest levels of support on this. Hopefully you don't have to come visit it, but value area low 786, golden pocket POC, anchored VWAP. Lose the anchored VWAP, you're looking here and hoping for a massive bounce. If you don't get it, you're hoping for a massive bounce. If you lose this level, I would expect to take the low here. So this is your key level. You do not want to lose. So there you go. That's what I would look at on Jupe. Shout out to Gen Z. Hopefully that helps you out, bro. Moonwell. Yeah, let's check out Moonwell real quick. And then yeah, we'll see what else we can get to. Whoops, Moonwell. I don't think I have it. Okay. I always don't think I have a chart on it until we pull it up. We just have not looked at this in quite some time. Let me take a sip of this black coffee real quick. All right, let's continue on. All right. Well, here you are. Here's your golden pocket 786 from the low to the high. You come on down. You tap that golden pocket. You hold it as support. You get a push. You break the high with the bodies of your candles, but not your wicks. So it was nice to see a bounce there, but I'm going to get rid of this at this point. I'll mark out this volume profile a little bit clearer here. value area high, POC, value area low. So yeah, you didn't get the full fill of the range, but you did get hit into that POC. Money flow crossed it over into the green on the 3-day. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, guys. All this looks very similar on every single altcoin. I don't want to be super repetitive. 3-day money flow crossing into the green, which is very similar to a lot of other things. 2-day money flow crossover in the green, right? This is the first thing that you look at for a continuation to the upside. We got that very, very nicely to play out. These pullbacks are not unexpected, right? But the anticipation of higher lows and higher highs is going to be the base case, right? Until proven otherwise. It's not that you can't get a bigger dump, but, you know, this is your key level of support within this profile, right? We came down, we tapped the golden pocket. 786 still remains naked here at 0.027387. And, yeah, I mean, you would hope, like, you have your low, your high, your higher low. And then if you can break out here, you could finally look to crack structure to the upside, which I would target this value area low POC sitting at, you know, between 5 and 6 cents. If you continue to get accepted into this range and you lose this 786, I would simply be looking down here to the next POC value area low, which sits between 0.02 and 0.022669 and 0.020769. These like prices are like so annoying to say. So please just make sure you're reading these and making sure those are correct. But yeah, I mean, at this point, you're technically below your value area. You got to get out of here soon. If you don't get out of here soon, I would be looking for the golden pocket 786 zone. Lose this, I'm looking down towards the POC and the low of the range. Now, would this be the, you know, worst case? You know, where's the line in the sand to break the lows, right? If we're going to get like super bearish, right? I mean, 786 P. I mean, this is a huge zone. This is your biggest key level. If you lose this level, I'm looking to take the lows. If you hold this breakout, I would be looking up here. Simply put, you're bouncing off a local fib. If you break out, it would be nice to see the high taken. If you break down, lose the 786, I'd be looking down towards this POC value area low 786. This sits between these two numbers, the two blue numbers. Just screenshot them. But there you go. That's what I'd be looking at on Moonwell. From a market cipher perspective, again, like these VWAP, these higher time frames look like they're cooling off. So it would not be impossible to get another retracement down or a continued retracement down. So there you go. Shout out to Baby Genius. Said, no cuts, won't shake up much tomorrow. It's priced in. Job claims today. Didn't rattle much. Only like 30-minute shake up. Yeah, shout out to Baby Genius. You're low-key a baby genius, bro. I would kind of agree with that, right? Like, is it going to be super bullish? No. But, you know, I would say, like, I think most people are expecting, like, this is priced into the markets for the most part. Could you see a little reaction? Yes. But I think, you know, if you look at the projections, like, most people are expecting it not to happen. So, yeah, it's not really until we get to September, if they decide to not cut rates, that would start to be getting a little bit close timing-wise. It'd be like, come on, we really started. We got to get this. We got to get this going soon, right? If we keep pushing them back, like this is the one thing that could kind of step on alt season, is the fact that, you know, if they just keep, you know, pushing rate cuts down, you know, kicking the can down the road, it, you know, that could definitely affect alt season. And speaking of alt season, let's take a quick look at Bitcoin dominance real quick. Yeah, I mean, we're just bouncing off the value area low as we looked at yesterday. We're just kind of bing-bonging around here. This is where we would expect turbulence. And if we get a little retracement back up here, you got some money flow coming back to the upside here. 4-hour money flow cruising back up pretty nicely. This could indicate a pullback on the alts. This would not change my longer-term sentiment, though. There's still a lot of room for these to come down to safe levels for retracements. But you got to be ready for that pullback. I think somebody's trying to break into the studio right now. Mrs. Candles! Mrs. Candles? The doorknob is twisting. Or I've been staring at the computer too long and I'm totally hallucinating. Hang on one second, guys. I got to check this. I was indeed staring at the computer for too long. Anyway, let's continue on. Shout out to Digital Pencil. Says, Frankie Candle's personal request to look at snack. I'm a snack. Snack. I'm a snack. Anyway, let's see here. I have not looked at this in. Wow, I looked at this a lot sooner than a lot more recent than I thought. Actually, hilarious enough, this range was pulled all the way to March or May 30th, 2025. And that was right when we lost the range and we came back up, flipped the value area low, send it back to the high. Absolutely picture perfect. This is the range I would look at. And oh, wow, we've looked at this recent. Okay, so here's your golden pocket retracement. I would separate these levels into the 786. So I will give you these in a second. Let me just catch my bearings. Okay, so you do have your golden pocket here. This is a nice, this is obviously a support. And this is pulled. Let me see this. Where is this pulled from? No, I'll be honest. I don't know. Oh, this was like an accidental fib. I don't know where this is pulled from. I don't know what the logic behind this is. Probably be looking more at something like that. Which in case does not really change anything, right? So you're at your golden pocket. Money flow in the 45-minute is coming out. 1 hour money flow is also coming out. Taking a look at the higher time frames, daily VWAP. Yeah, you don't have any market cipher B1/16 bearish setups here, so that makes me feel a little better. But just in general, you do have money flow coming out here, like 3 hour money flow trending down, 4 hour money flow trending down. If this crosses into the red, the anticipation here is the continuation of the downtrend, right? If you lose the golden pocket, which ends at about 34478, I would be looking down towards the POC 786 confluence, which slightly moves, but does put these in perfect confluence. I would say that zone is sitting, 786 at 31146, and then the POC is sitting, they're 31103. That is your 786 POC. Lose this, I would look down here. Am I super amped on a huge bounce from this level? I mean, sometimes you do like to go for the breakout retest of the POC before sending it back up to higher prices. I would say this. If you bounce here, I would look for a breakout and a push into the value area low at 53848. But if you lose that 786, I'm looking down to the bottom of the range because the overall anticipation here is deviation above the high, POC, value area low. Big old deviation, back in, POC, value area high. Deviation, back in, POC, value area low. That would be the value area of rotation, but you do have an opportunity to either bounce off the golden pocket or the 786. If not, I'm looking down to the value area low. If you can come into here with bullish confirmation, maybe get a deviation, reclaim, that's where I would look to fill the range. And then if money flow is looking better at that time, you could look for the bigger breakout. So there you go. There is, I'm a snack. There is snack. So there we go. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, money flow doesn't, looks like the bigger pullbacks are here, right? But I'm not calling for the mega dump of the century. I would just be looking for bigger retracements for continuations up as long as the high time frame money flow can continue cooking to the upside. SNEC a little bit early here, right? Ethereum got the crossover. Everything else got the crossover. SNEC is kind of lagging around, which could be a little extra opportunity, right? Just, you might have not missed the move just yet. And if you look at this, right, maybe if you do get a bigger retracement, you could see something like this form. All right, if you say you come down to the value area low, it's like, oh, well, hey, you have some kind of a head and shoulders, right? Let's just grab this super sloppy measured move. There you go. There's your move back up to the highs. Could be. We'll see if we can get that push down to the value area low. All right, let's see. Jump back in the chat, take a sip of that black coffee. Let's see. Shout out to Daniel Spooner, said, I could see another 25% drop on BTC if we get another weekly bear div. Yeah, that is another thing as well. We do have a, let me pull that up real quick. I'll pull up this. Look at the tap on that Fibonacci extension level, guys. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, technically, we do have this is not the cleanest, but we do have a weekly bear div forming as well, right? Like, these are just things we can't ignore. And this is why I say, even the retracement, even if it's not going to be like a mega dump down to zero, right? Not that I would ever expect Bitcoin to ever go back down there. But, we do have a higher high on our price action. We do have our lower high on our momentum waves. We do have the weekly red dot looking to print. So that means this bear div is looking to print potentially soon, which could cause either the bigger retracement down to 110 to 112 and potentially even a bigger, scarier drop, depending on, what things happen on the way down, right? What does price look like when we start that move to the downside? But this is 100% a weekly bear div. So do be aware of that, right? We actually looked at this previously, but and this could be looked at as like potentially like 3 drives: higher high, lower high, or high, lower high, right? So it's like you are getting price continuing up with your momentum continuing out, right? This is definitely bearish divergence. So yeah, keep an eye on that, right? Just like another thing as well as money flow, potentially giving you that continuation to the downside. We'll see what happens. Getting a nice, starting to get like an okay bounce off here, off our local level here. It's not the most beautiful. I mean, I'll definitely be definitely be clear about that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. This is definitely the key level. We break down below this, guys. I think the bigger retracement is very likely. This is looked at as a scalp. And funny enough, once we came down to this level, we first got our first bounce. I actually did not catch the entry. I literally get up from my desk for 5 minutes, come back, and we literally get the exact setup in the Discord to play out. I mean, it's like hilarious. Like, we're waiting for this for so long. I walk away from the chart for 2 minutes, and we come down and tap the level. But I actually did catch an entry here on the retracement back down, right? We came back down. Again, I missed the SFP entry, but we did come back down, right? So, yeah, the 1 hour bull div. But as we came down for that second shot, we did have another 30-minute bull div for the retest. So I did actually take a small position on that as well. I don't think I'm logged in here. Am I logged in here? Let me see. It is on Blowfin. I am on Blowfin, but it's on another account here. I am still holding this long position, though, on Blowfin. Up 6,700. Let me see if I can pull this up. Where is it at? Yeah, so I did just take that position on the retest. Try not to... There we go. Bada boom. There you go. Right on there. She's in the green, baby. She's in the green. Not much, but she's in the green. We'll see if we can get that to continue to play out. Actually, I'm pretty happy that I got that extra chance to enter. I didn't think I was going to get that, right? And hey, what do you do, guys? What do? You never chase those positions, especially when I come back to the Discord. I'll be honest, guys. Like, when I come into the Discord, it's like you think it's hard to miss a move. Try putting a setup in setups in Discord constantly, and then waiting so long for the move to happen, and then missing the setup, and everybody else gets it, right? It's like, dang. But what did I do? Just to kind of walk you guys through this and like give you a little insight. Did I see this pushing up? And it did push up aggressively, right? Like, you come on down here to the 15-minute, right? Like, this was pushing up very nicely. Nice SFP, aggressive push to the upside. Am I chasing the long here? Absolutely not. What do I wait for? I wait for a retracement, and then I enter. That's the way to do it, right? Not financial advice. That's the way I do it, right? And pull your fib from the high to the low. There's your golden pocket 786 retracement. If you're going to put in a higher low, and hopefully we can break structure to the upside here, but that is where you would look to take that entry. Little free sauce for the Mafia. There we go. All right. Let's see. 10 billion waiting above 120K and growing. Shout out to Eugene Sky. Dude, this is exactly what we were talking about earlier in the stream. If I pull up that actual long position or that long setup that we had in the Discord, where is it? Right? The eventual target of this is going to be, right? And I'm not saying we have to get up there. Again, money flow does not look great, but again, we come to the level, we get the setups that we look for, right? Or we get those confirmations that we look for, which you could see didn't happen at the exact same time, but timing is very difficult to get. But, when we see that happen, the eventual target here, as always, I will be using the volume profile as a guide for this trade, right? If we make it to the POC, I'll probably lock in some money, flip the POC, look to go to the high. But if we get the breakout here, the eventual target for that trade, like high key, could be looking to come into that liquidity above 120K, which we did talk about yesterday on the live stream. And if I pull up the liquidation heat map, as we showed before, right? So starting at about 120, all the way up to about 121.5, 121.6. So are we going to go sweep that liquidity? Hopefully. At least for the sake of my long position. But again, I will be looking for shorts up there as well as a trader, right? Not looking for it to go to zero, but just looking to make a little bit of money there. And you can see on that drop to the downside right here, we did get a little bit of a sweep of liquidity there, which was very nice to see. So, typically price action is a game of just seeking liquidity, sweeping it, and then hopefully sending it back to the upside. Let me see if I can... let's see here. Huh, that's worrisome. Let me see. I'm just going to pull up my face cam in case my social security number pops up. I don't know why that would happen, but I do get a little sussed out here when I log into stuff. I'm not trying to plaster my stuff all over the internet here. All right, well, I guess I can't log in. That's interesting. I don't know what's going on there. Bear with me here, guys. I got to log into a different account. All right, there we go. All right, let me see. Let me check it on chat while I do this. I like 400X. Shout out to, who said that? Laserscope Pew Pew. That's wild. 400X. Where can you trade 400X? Let me know. I would love to know. What about XRP? Shout out to Udi. We actually did take a look at XRP. If you scrub back just a little bit, go back to the beginning of the stream. It was one of the first things that we looked at. One of the first altcoins that we looked at. So let me just log in here real quick. All right, there we go. Oh, there we go. My account said $0 for a second. I was like, oh God, but it was because I got logged out. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I'm logged in. All right, let's see. Oh, let me pull this screen back up here. Okay, let's take a look here. ZBC. Let's take a look. Mexi does 500X. That's insane, man. That's like $5. You don't need any money to trade over there. You just like use all the leverage. Yo, shout out to Brillo, says I'm up 82% ROI on the pump long from the very bottom. Let's go. Shout out to Brillo. Congratulations, baby. Let's get it. Let's see. What are your expectations on Total 3 market cap topping out this cycle? Shout out to Hitesh. I might make a pre-recorded video about this. I'm not going to dive into it on today's live stream, but I might make a pre-record. By the way, speaking of pre-records, guys, XRP price prediction video coming out tomorrow. And then probably Thursday or Friday, Cardano is coming out. And then we need a list of stuff so I can keep making these videos. And we'll just keep banging out these altcoin videos, whether they're price predictions or, Ondo update, right? Just so I can keep you guys updated on these alt charts. Let's see. All right, let's continue on. I like to trade with 2x and use only 25% of the position and each position according to its risk. Shout out to Mr. 420. Let's go, baby. Do I think DEBEC ZBEC will hit 5 cents? Let's take a look here. Well, I will just tell you really quickly. Do we have another chart here? No, we do not have a... Oh, this is why. No? Where? Do we not have a ZBEC chart? I guess we don't. I will just make one. We'll do it on the MEXC chart because it usually has pretty good history. All right, so let me see here. 5 cents. Let's see. What would that be from where we are right now? Almost a 10x. Let me pull a fib extension real quick. Just pull this local extension. Kind of hard. It's let me see from here. Definitely wouldn't be my first target, that's for sure. So yeah, I mean, let me see what this would be. 275%. I mean, it's not the craziest. It's not the craziest target ever. I would have to wait, right, for a because like I just can't, like, this doesn't have any information from 2021 or anything like that. Yeah, I it's kind of hard to pull this from a chart perspective just because I don't have enough I don't have enough history to like really pull a massive extension. But just looking at this like from the local top to the local low, this does your last fib level from here does sit at about just almost exactly 2 cents. I mean, that would be the upper target of this local extension. And then once we get up there, if you do want to continue up, I would pull new levels, to be quite honest. So that's kind of how I would handle it. I would never, even if someone said it's guaranteed to hit 5 cents, this is never something you should listen to, right? Like, you should never, if someone tells you it's going to hit 5 cents, you should never, just to say this, you should never just hold on waiting for that 5 cent level, because I'll tell you, from someone who knows more than most people about charts and about how markets move, there is no one on earth. There is literally 0 people. There are really good analysts out there. There are really good traders out there. There's no one ever that can promise you that a level will get hit. It is impossible. And any real trader will tell you that, right? Or any real analyst in general will tell you that. There's no... A lot of influencers like to say, like, this coin is going to this level. Any of my price predictions are going to be very information-based and realistic, not just some hopium to have people hold their bag from all the way, to wherever the price tops out, all the way back to the bottom, right? So just be aware of that. I'm sure you know this, but just be aware. It doesn't matter who tells you that it's guaranteed to hit a certain price level. Unless they have, like, exact information of, like, why it can hit that level, even then, it's... The statement is it can hit this level, not it will hit this level. Because I know a lot of people will listen to influencers and be like, I'm going to hold this bag. Like, this guy thinks it's going here. I'm going to wait for it to hit that price. This is not how you want to trade. This is not how you want to invest. This is not how you want to manage the bull market, right? This is how you round trip your bags, right? That's why I like to teach the charts, right? Because if you think this is going to 5 cents, and again, this is a little bit harder for me to call just because of the lack of price action. But if you get up to 2 cents, and if you learn how to read the charts, when you see those bearish confirmations and you understand how the market moves and it looks like there's a top forming, chances are you're not going to 5 cents, right? Everybody wanted 100K last cycle for Bitcoin. We didn't get anywhere close, right? And the signs for the top coming in were 100% on the chart. So keep that in mind. The sad reality, I think, is most people just want to hear that, right? They just want to hear that it's going up, which is great, but it makes everybody lose money, right? So if you actually want to make money and not hold on for hopium, learn how to read the charts. Tune into this live stream. I'll teach you how to read the charts for free every single weekday here. But yeah, just don't fall into that trap. I know a lot of people who do. So yeah, they thought ETH was going to 20K, Bitcoin was going to 100K. Nothing got anywhere near the predictions, right? That's why I'm not holding my XRP to $500. But yeah, XRP price prediction video, speaking of that, is coming out tomorrow. But anyway, let's take a look here. So I would say you're next. Like, if you break the high here, and I'm not saying this can't go to 5 cents by any means. I would have to do like market cap analysis. I would have to spend some time on this. But I would just say from a technical perspective, if you look at this, right, if you do get another crack of the highs here, I would say your next zone of local resistance would be between 83238 all the way up to about 1 cent, right? And then once you get up there, you can reassess the situation, right? Maybe you melt right through the level into your next level, and that would be great. But once you get up here, you analyze price. Is the money flow on the higher time frames coming up? Does it look like you could put in a higher low and a higher high? Then you can wind up targeting the next level. Now, are you getting massive monthly bearish divergences with money flow coming out on the weekly? Bitcoin is topped out, right? In that case, you're probably going to top out at 1 cent, right? But if it's not the case, right, if you read the charts and you understand that, hey, maybe we could look for a continuation up, which there will be signs of. If it's there, right, you'll be able to tell. And then you can look for a higher target. And then you have your actual Fibonacci targets that you're looking to come up to, right? But in no reality would I ever just hold and wait for a price level. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, I would say your next levels to the upside would be sitting here on these Fibonacci extensions between, again, the levels I just said, and then the next level would be sitting up here on this Fibonacci extension pocket, sitting between 0.0132622 and 0.0151853. There you go. And then, we'll cross the next bridges when we get there. But yeah, I wish I can give you like a better answer here, but I would have to spend some time looking at market cap and all that good stuff. You do have the 6-day green dot printing, which is nice. You have the weekly green dot printing, which is nice. This does look like it might want to print some kind of a weekly bearish divergence, which would call for a crack of the high, right? So watch this Fibonacci target. It might, if you can get that weekly green dot to continue to play out and confirm, this would be definitely the next target I would be looking at. So there you go. That's what I'd say on ZBEC. You also have your 16-hour money flow crossing into the green. You have your 10-hour money flow crossover into the green, which with the weekly green dot is a very, very nice sign. All right, that's like a market cipher B116 strategy as well. And you can see you are getting that continuation to the upside. And right now you are testing the golden pocket 786. So I would say the line in the sand here, break above 61500, break above this 786, I think it's likely that you push into this next target, right? Which would also give you the creation of that weekly bearish divergence. So it wouldn't be unlikely to pull back from there. But again, if your money flow still looks good, you could look for a higher low and a higher high, which you would target your next target, right? Your next fib levels. And then you could do this for a while, potentially, right? Maybe up to 5 cents. But you just got to be aware of each level and analyze price action as you tap into them. So there you go. Ton, yeah, we could take a look at Ton. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Golden Child said, oh, this whole time I thought this was Alex Becker's new coin, huh? I thought I missed the drop somehow. Yo, shout out to Alex Becker, bro. Oh, that's crazy. All right, let's take a look at Ton. Let's take a look at Ton. We haven't taken a look at Ton in a while as well. Try to change it up as much as I can here. I don't like looking at the same exact coins, especially, you know, XRP, Solana all doing the same thing. Man, do we not have a Ton chart? Wow. I guess not. All right, well, I'll just do a new chart here on the MEXC. So pretty clear volume profile up here. Yeah, you know what this reminds me of, guys? I'm not going to lie. This is very, very reminiscent of, yeah, this kind of structure reminds me of, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't unsee this. This reminds me very much of this on Bitcoin. Consolidation, big pullback, into the Fibonacci retracements, almost retesting the structure of the previous range, higher high. Doesn't mean it has to play out like that, but it is very similar. There's your range, big drop, retest structure into your Fib extension levels, or I'm sorry, your Fibonacci retracement levels. If you were going to be looking for a low, a high, a higher low, and then a break of structure to the upside, which would break this high here for a BOS, for a BOS to the upside, this would be that zone, this would be the level you would want to hold. So not only is this key support, but it's also your doorway to lower prices, because if you lose this, I'll keep this. Let me just get rid of that. So yeah, if you lose this, right, you're definitely at danger of coming back down into this range. But the breakout, the retest, this would be low, high, higher low, higher high. This 786 would be the perfect place to bounce from. So your goal on Ton is going to be to hold that 786. If you can hold that 786, crack back above the golden pocket, look to get accepted back into this range. You know, I'll get more in detail on this as we approach. I'll just do it right now so you guys have the exact levels. Boom. Right? So value area low of the previous range is at about 480. That would be your big doorway to higher prices. This would be very similar again to Bitcoin getting accepted back into the macro range. Right? I don't want to spend too much time just, printing the same thing on Bitcoin, but get back in here, flip the POC at about 522, push up to the value area high, and then eventually look for that break of structure long term. I mean, the place you bounce is beautiful. You get the retest of the range, 786 retracement, similar to Bitcoin. Hopefully, we can continue the move up here, fill the range, and then we can start to look for a potential breakout to get that eventual break of structure to the upside off that bounce at the 786. Break down below that 786, I would probably be looking down towards the POC and the value area low, as I typically do. Only thing here is, yeah, I mean, you definitely don't want to lose this 786. I would say that there is a chance if you do come back down that you could retest the POC and then get the move up, which is definitely not impossible, but I would really like to hold that 786. I would, for the most part, say if you get stuck back in this range, you might be able to fill it in full. So, yeah, that's what I'd be looking at on Ton. Locally, you have the you still got these red dots on the higher time frame, so just be aware. You could get more pullbacks here, guys, but money flow still cooking to the right side, right? Still cooking to the upside. 2-day money flow still in the green. 3-day money flow trending up. 4-day, literally the definition of flat money flow there. 5-day is curving up. So, yeah, I mean, it just might take some time, but this money flow is still headed in the right direction. Maybe you get a little more bing bong until that money flow crosses into the green. But 786 is beautiful. Retest of the range is beautiful. And again, dominance, right? If dominance keeps cooking to the downside, maybe we eventually get rate cuts. Maybe we have to wait all the way till September. Who knows? Hopefully not, but it could be the case. If we do have to wait there, I would expect September to maybe be the kickoff there if we get the rate cuts. And if there's no rate cuts, maybe it gets delayed even more. But this is what I would look for. I would just still say, like, patience is key here. Money flow is still cooking to the right side. If you get those high time frame red dots, cool-offs can happen, but you are still potentially anticipating a continuation up there. So there you go. That is what I would look at on Toncoin. Let's go. ADD Dad in the chat. What is going on, ADD Dad? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. But guys, Eugene Sky said short BNB. It's overstretched. RSI cooling fast. I'm just gonna do a quick. I'm not gonna do full. I'm not gonna do full analysis here, but I just want to see what BNB is looking like. Yes, this would be. Yeah, I personally, shout out to Eugene. I'm not saying that the short won't play out. I would personally say you did already miss a large move to the downside. I personally would prefer to wait for a retracement before an entry to get back in on the bigger move down. Doesn't mean it can't dump from here, but you do have the daily red dot. You do have the 90-minute money flow. I would say if that 90-minute money flow crosses into the red, continuation of the lower highs, lower lows could be very likely for a bigger cool-off. But again, this thing just exploded, so pullbacks are totally okay in my opinion. And again, high time frame red dots. High time frame red dots on all the altcoins could continue the pullback, could even continue the pullback on Bitcoin. But with money flow indicating the longer-term trend, we still are in pretty decent shape until we start breaking down below those key levels on Bitcoin. But with all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got for today's live stream. I appreciate every single one of you guys for hanging out with us here till the end. I don't know if we hit 550 likes, but if we did, we're going to give away some Frankie Candles hats. We got so many of them. And if you guys run it up to 1,000 while we run the music, then we'll give away that $200 in Solana. Let's go. But yeah, shout out to Jesse. Thank you for being here. Wix Wi-Fi 89. Let's go. Let's see. Baby Genius. Lot. Laser Go Pew Pew. Dutchy. ADD Dad. Proud Dad. MD. Torgato. And Colombo. That's all I got for today's live stream. I'll see you here tomorrow. Same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Watch out for that XRP price prediction. And if you have not already, go watch that Ethereum price prediction that we dropped yesterday, I think. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong!
Coach, what's next for me, Joe? I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the f*** is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Space shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Shout out to the digital pencil. Says, show the Cavs. Fine, if I must. Oh. Is that I literally have a vein throbbing through my calf. Anyway, you learn something new every day, guys. Pray for Bitcoin. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. You know the rest. Hasta pasta. Smash that like button. Bing bong. That was horribly timed.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, man, we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out.